Good evening again. My name is Joshua Free. I'm the founder, director of modern MARDUKITE movement, MARDUKITE Babylon, developer of Necronomicon, the Anunnaki Bible. We're now on our, looks like, 8th episode of the new MARDUKITE TV 10th anniversary reboot here on YouTube. In commemoration of our groundbreaking foundation work that we are reintroducing to a new generation of truth seekers and others who are just now discovering our next-gen style of esoteric, mystical, and spiritual new thought rooted in some very intensive archaeological research and revival. And before digressing to other topics, with our reappearance on YouTube, this series focuses specifically on our original MARDUKITE sourcebook anthology of Mesopotamian mysteries that we decided to call Necronomicon, the Anunnaki Bible, 10 years ago. And it's now available globally for the first time as a deluxe cloth-bound, dust jacket on it, collector's edition hardcover, just in time for its 10th anniversary. And as prestigious as this material is, because of our organization's growth over the years, we're now able to actually offer this deluxe volume for the same price actually as previous paperback editions of the complete book. So this really is an amazing time to take advantage of our abilities to relay the information beautifully and coherently in this book. So we talk about the written word, we talk about the most ancient writings, the planet, origins of the systems, and we talk about a lot of facets of Mesopotamia. And some of this is actually kind of inconsequential to a lot of people. This doesn't register on their radar. If you're watching this on YouTube, chances are you've been looking for information, related information, so on and so forth. So it's important sometimes that we break this down into something that's actually wholly relevant for people today, modern consciousness, so forth, or a way of tying and bridging what we understand today with the way it was relayed in the past. And to do this, the MARDUKITES have gone and basically conducted a decade's worth of intensive research and brought the good parts, brought the best of it to public view, and has developed a movement or a paradigm in that way in examining all things based on a more holistic view. And this holistic view is where our work, my work, work of the MARDUKITES is unique because it is, in that sense, holistic. Again, for example, looking at Mesopotamia as the source of Judeo-Christian traditions. This is something that scholars have known since the mid-1800s. Has it changed a pop understanding of our world, of our history, of where we come from? No. Has it changed our history books? Has it changed the way that conventional knowledge is relayed or even passed around in media, popular forms? No. So when we speak of, for example, Necronomicon, the Anunnaki Bible, the tablet materials that are enclosed within this anthology, as being a very real Anunnaki Bible that is the origins of Judeo-Christian scriptures. Okay, that in and of itself, even though we're trying to bridge with something tangible and relevant, that in and of itself is going to draw people toward or against the whole paradigm. And this is why. Most people are either very strongly for or against that paradigm as it stands, the way it is. Even today, we use the concepts of Adam and Eve and Noah's Ark and certain archetypal storylines and themes that we relate back to our pop cultural understanding of Judeo-Christian texts as they were relayed. Now, a lot of them, particularly the oldest books, for example, the Old Testament, Torah and whatnot, are very explicitly based on cuneiform tablets that we can find in Mesopotamia, and have relayed as a complete Bible of sorts of these oldest works in Necronomicon, the Anunnaki Bible. But what it does is it gives a wider, more encompassing paradigm for one to understand the way that these stories and these legacies were carried on by other cultures and other traditions for the last thousands of years. It's not to create a debate, and it's not to make an argument for or against any of them. They've all sprouted from the main trunk of the tree and evolved based on cultural needs, the semantics and the vocabulary of individual languages, and so forth. So we can't debate that those things have not happened, that from the ancient Sumerians and ancient Babylonians and the first Semitic people, the Akkadians and so forth, that these other traditions of, the Persians and the Canaanites and, the Judaism and Christianity and the Arabic and all these things have formed from that. No arguing that. But it's important that we go back to the base. And it seems that many truth seekers have actually long wondered what the truth of all this is. That in between those that have either taken things for granted or just like, who cares, whatever, there are those that have wondered the truth of it, and it is available to us as clearly today as it was thousands and thousands of years ago. It was impressed on ancient clay tablets, the first writings at the inception of modern human civilization. And, some of these writings extend back to the very first societies. The first cities, the first systems, the first everything. And while humanity has definitely had a turbulent history ever since, what has really suffered the most of all of the time is precisely the retention, the understanding, the basic ability to know the truth about the origins of everything. How things came to be, how they are today, is not necessarily as important as the ability to go back to the source, rediscovery of this original information, and the truth as it was laid out before the convolution of further systems and cultural fragmentation. Once you go back to the beginning, once you see the wide-angle picture in its simplistic, raw form, the way that it was originally set down and developed at the inception of modern civilization. Now, it's not to say that things haven't taken place prior to this period, approximately 10,000 years ago, so forth, a changeover from a great cataclysm, a flood, a deluge, or whatnot. But in Mesopotamia, where civilization started again, it built up on the same foundations, on the same knowledge, on the same basis of what had come from before, and sparked up seemingly overnight. And this information, once you have it at your disposal, and the Mardukites have put together quite a library of, again, basically the best of the most coherent, cohesive information that's not only from Mesopotamia, but all natures and factions of what has been branded esoteric or occult or whatever throughout history. But in the course of doing that, in the course of creating this grand archives and this secret library we have, and all these materials and all this behind-the-scenes development over the last 10, even before that. I founded the Mardukites 10 years ago publicly after doing a lot of groundwork for probably a decade prior to even that. And I've actually been involved, whether as Merlin Stone and Joseph Fate, a whole bunch of different pseudonyms. Some I'm not going to get into. There's a reason we use them. But for 25 years, and in doing that, what basically ended up happening is in chasing down the origins and the most raw aspects of everything that I was involved in, kept ending up back in Mesopotamia. And finally, about 10 years ago, when I founded the modern Mardukite movement, and the Mardukite True Seeker Press, and eventually Mardukite Babylon, and so on and so forth, it became a template. The original civilization, the original writings, the original codings, the tablets of destiny, all kinds of arts of civilization, secret doctrines, all this information that could be basically used in a reflection of that in actuality. And I've spent many, many years working towards the fruition of achieving various ends with that, including the physical refounding of a New Babylon, which all of it taking a significant amount of work, research, involvement with other people, and so that's basically where we've come to, and it's happened in essence behind the scenes. Even the stuff online is only the tip of the iceberg for us. And so it is important that our work continues, and that we continue to work with more people in growing this consciousness, because what it is doing is allowing for a greater potential for what can actually unfold from it. Things we'd never even dreamed before, ways of going about that. We have inherited a certain generational approach to doing things, basically having to pick up the bag that we're left. It's by no surprise that the majority of Mardukites active today, whether in the organization officially or those kind of on the outskirts independently working alongside with us, because it's not as formal of an organization as some people might think, because that's already been done. And, we've talked about that in the past. Even here on YouTube, there's videos from 9 and 10 years ago. And so what's changed? Our time now is to try and bring more of it to you as accessibly as possible. Even the ability to relay information through this media. If you look, a decade ago, our average video was probably about 5 minutes long. Not 3. At this point, I believe we're running on 13 minutes here, just with this episode thus far. And so, the point being, that things that are expanding our abilities to relay, our abilities to even to produce works, even more economically, for people to have the data stream and the backing to be able to put the time in, communing with people through YouTube, which is important. We are getting back to our core, our roots, and actually achieving in a decade almost as many phases of inception that were planned originally back in since 2008, actually. So a lot is actually happening. A lot is taking place for those that have been following along over the years. And there is a lot of critiquing taking place. The population is expanding. We have more people, reaching us now than we did in the past, as far as even the age groups. People who are, 9 and 10 years old when we started doing this are now 19 and 20. That are just now finding us. People who were in their late teens at our inception that got involved with us are, approaching their 30s, looking at family life. It's changing the way in which things are taking place on the planet from a personal level, which is then expressed outwardly, radiated outwardly from that personal level. So what do the Mardukites exist for today? What is the point of our Necronomicon, I like to be Bible? What is the point of the work we're doing? Why have I dedicated a quarter of a century to underground esoterica, and even a decade of my personal life? Most people don't realize that what really began as something I did on the side, and later ended up dedicating my whole 24/7 life actually to these mysteries. So, why do we do this? Okay, so people are looking for answers, and everyone's got a voice out there. We've been connected to some pretty crazy stuff, involved with all kinds of interesting people. It's been a long journey getting us to this point. And we serve a purpose to fulfill basically ancient prophecies. Some people might be familiar with a small independent movie like the Omega Code, or other examples of that point. The point being that I've felt a personal inclination towards bringing this to the world the way it is, as the Mardukite representation of something that hasn't necessarily been around for thousands of years on the planet in its said form, only really in the outskirts, and embedded at the baseline foundations of a lot of the traditions and other esoteric factions that are out there, including many of the secret societies, and even those allegedly drawn from, supposed other cultures like Greek philosophical fraternities or Egyptian Rosicrucians. But the truth of the matter is they actually all stem from a Mesopotamian stream. So people are looking for answers, and where is there to turn? It's going to change. In the next 10 years, you'll actually start to see embedded from the underground a larger presence of Mesopotamia embedded in pop culture. This is something that's been instigated both esoterically and, I suppose, on an enterprising level, using energies and techniques and aspects of esoteric that it's almost crazy to even write about. There's a world behind the world, and there's a magic behind the magic, and there are some infallible aspects that can't be relayed directly in words, but people are becoming more and more privy to them as things unfold. And you're going to see, even as far as people's awareness, their abilities to perceive things is going to be increased, based on, again, work that's actively happening from what seems to be an underground level and behind the scenes and almost inconsequential, but the intention behind it is to actually create, of course, world change. So where does that bring us for people who are just looking for the answers? Of course, the infallible truth is virtually impossible to relay in words, but words were created, and language and writing was created for a specific reason, all having to do with basically reality engineering. And this is important. This is important for all of us. There's certain codes and laws in effect throughout the universe, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's the systems in play as they are. What's wrong about it is when things are subverted, or people are misled, or the people responsible for maintaining the systems are not doing what they're supposed to do. And at these times in history, the hand of Marduk, let us say, has always moved to those best suited for it, even if it doesn't seem to be either genealogically or politically or based on the way people understood the infrastructure as it was, even if it didn't follow that. So, for example, when ancient Babylon was in danger of, let's say, Enlite Sumerian kings no longer upholding the traditions, or a king that usurps the throne that is not tending to the people, because that was very important back then. Unlike today, where it's all about politics, back then the king and the land were one, and the prosperity of the people and the goodness of the king and his righteousness were one. That still takes place today. You can see the sickness spread with all kinds of leadership among its people. But as far as it being executed properly, this is something that was done more integrity in ancient times. So knowledge and power and corruption and politics, these things are all inherent in the system. But so is the ebb and flow and the tides of change. And so when people are coming looking for information about the ancient past, it's sometimes the case that the desire to know is not tempered with the wisdom and discernment for the need to know. And some people aren't actually prepared for it, or some people aren't going to accept it as it is. This is just like a cute book or something from people that had too much time on their hands. But more dangerously, though, I mean, we've seen the types that have allowed the pursuit of esoteric knowledge to drive them crazy. And, those that have touched on, for example, the lunar gate of enchantment, they've pierced the physical, they've accessed there's something more. That's about as far as they get. And without fully understanding, controlling, or mastering it, they are so vastly interrupted and impeded in their lives of any sense of normalcy. And so, unfortunately, these sorts of people fall by the wayside, or worse, they become forever lost in this personal roller coaster ride, closed track and cyclic, providing perpetual stimulation, the illusion of movement. But, where is the true enlightenment in that? Where is the ascension if the movement is not perpetually upward? By moving forward, by progressing, by advancing as a being, as a consciousness, where we unfold latent potentials that are not restricted to just what we can conceive of today. So we begin to allow ourselves the freedom to achieve these states, a higher awareness, by acquiring and maintaining true knowledge as we process our experience of reality and what is possible. If you don't have a clear understanding of what's actually happened, if you don't understand what's taken place in the past, you don't really have a clear understanding of the words even, and the meaning of the words that are running through your mind as you're processing the world around you, what sense of true reality can you expect to achieve? How can you actually believe that what you're experiencing is absolute when it's based on false knowledge, false pretenses, false vocabulary? This isn't to be all doom and gloom. It's about illumination. The whole idea of illuminating the self, becoming brighter and even lighter, but illuminating the darkness. The darkness is not evil. The darkness is simply ignorance, and we've known this for a very, very long time. We don't need to get into a semantic debate about that. So for everyone, they're going to find a way that suits them for their lifetime, that satisfies whatever needs that they have at their particular stage of development. We cannot force ascension or evolution. We're not splicing genes here. We are organically, sometimes through osmosis, but mostly organically, elevating intellectually our understanding of these things. And so fortunately for the past decade, the group that I've been involved with, MARDUKITE Chamberlains or MARDUKITE Research Organization, has refined a collection of the most ancient writings on the planet, and it's presented in this amazing source book of renderings drawn from ancient Mesopotamia. It's the land of Sumerians, Akkadians, Assyrians, Babylonians, Chaldeans, which is a treasure trove of clay cuneiform tablets, but completely translated. I've actually gotten some emails about this. Is it in English? I'm like, yes, this is completely translated, beautifully presented, accessible to all to see, and this has been carefully arranged and developed by those who actually take these matters seriously. This is not simply an academic interest or some scholarly career. And so, the etheric, astral, and intellectual gateways that these materials unlock is just beyond what I can even express in words, and it must instead be experienced firsthand to truly be known. So I hope you enjoyed our video, and I hope you can join us in knowing.